Hello everyone, my name's Dr. Steve Simpson and I'm a mind coach, speaker and author. Thank you to those of you who have signed up for my YouTube channel and or my website sign up box. So today's topic is an interesting one. Words and language are dynamic, they're not fixed, and words come and go. And the Oxford English Dictionary, and presumably all the other dictionaries too, are regularly updated. And in the latest update, one of my favorite words is now official, so I can use it and hopefully will not have my wrists slapped all the time. And this word is neuroplasticity. And as I mentioned, I've been using it for several years in my blogs. Now, back when I was a medical student, and it doesn't seem very long ago, I was told that the brain is hardwired from birth, or perhaps more literally from its time in the womb, and that it doesn't change from that time until the day that we die. And the word for this is called localisationism, whereby every part of the brain is dedicated to a particular function. And that word was actually coined by Galileo, although I think he's more famous for studying the planets and people's brains. So that was the model that we all believed was true, although obviously a lot of people had doubts about this, and now it is accepted that the brain is far more complicated and powerful than this, because enough evidence has now, research has shown that different parts of the brain can change from one function to another. Now, a good example of this is people who have been blind from birth. They have a large part of their brain which is associated with processing visual information, so because this is clearly not used, it's used for another function. And these brain cells are recruited into processing other types of information, and very often this is sound information, auditory inputs. And blind people, sometimes in some countries, they walk with a white stick, and they very often are tapping it. And they may be literally feeling their way around their environment, or they may be adopting a technique called echolocation. And this is how bats can fly around by firing out sound signals and interpreting the echoes that come back to them. And this is indeed what some blind people can do. And an example that I've quoted before, and I saw it on TV, so it must be true, is a young man who has been blind from birth, and he makes clicking noises when he is riding his bicycle. And I've even seen him drive through heavy traffic perfectly safely, apparently, although, of course, I do not recommend that you try that experiment. Indeed, riding a bicycle, especially in places like London, is dangerous enough if you are lucky to be fully sighted. But anyway, there you are. That's an example of echolocation. And the scientists have got a nice little punchy phrase, and they say that neurons, which are the brain cells, neurons which fire together are wired together. Another way of saying this, which is a bit simpler, is we use it or we lose it. And teachers know that, and athletes know it, which is why we all spend time memorizing stuff or practicing things that we like doing, like playing an instrument or whatever, because the more we do it, sooner or later those neurons that fire together are wired together, and these activities move from our conscious mind, which is pretty ponderous, into our unconscious mind or subconscious mind, which can work far more quickly. Another example that the researchers have studied is London taxi drivers. Now, if you've been to London, the London taxi drivers are very proud of their knowledge of the streets and other things in London. And they should be proud of it, because they have to memorize all of this, and they don't get their license until they pass a very strict test, which is called the knowledge. Of course, these days with satellite navigation systems, this is becoming less important. But even so, of the taxi drivers that were studied, they have been shown to have increased the grey area of their brain whilst they were having to memorize for their test. And not only did they increase the number of their brain cells in particular parts of the brain, but individual cells were working more effectively. So there's further evidence for neuroplasticity, and other good examples that have got a very positive message for all of us is that people who take regular exercise and look after their fitness show similar patterns of increased brain cell performance, and as do people who regularly meditate. And my understanding is that Dalai Lama was part of this research project that studied the benefits of meditation. And again, not only do the individual cells work more effectively, but there are particular parts of the brain that increase the number of their brain cells through meditation, which presumably is part of the reason why the benefits of meditation, some of the benefits of meditation are claimed to be increased clarity of mental thought and creativity, and apart from all the calmness as well. So this is good news for all of us, and it is potentially good news for those who have suffered brain injury, because in the old model, once a brain injury had occurred, then that injury was permanent and the loss of function was permanent and the brain cells would never recover. Well, we now know that this is not the whole truth by a long way, and there are some people who make what appear to be miraculous recoveries from severe brain injury. And as research continues, I'm sure that we all hope there will be many more people who will be able to recover similarly. And areas that are under increasing amounts of research now are physiotherapy. Some drugs can help in this process, and also electrostimulation techniques, which I guess work on the principle that neurons that fire together sooner or later wire together. So this is good news, so I'm happy to report it. I'm sure that we're going to hear a lot more about neuroplasticity in the following months and years, and that the scientists will figure out ever more clever ways that we can use it in our lives. So the good news is that we are all going to be able to enjoy our work, rest and play far more than we have done. If you are a regular follower of my videos, you will see that I mention eyes closed practice and visualization techniques, and all of the other secrets that elite performers have used to improve their mental powers, because mental powers are good for the brain, but they're good for the rest of the body too, and just about anything else that we wish to do in life. So that's enough for today. So enjoy practicing firing your neurons lying on bed with your eyes closed, because especially in the winter it's a lot easier than going out in the cold, snow and rain to play your favorite sport or practice your favorite sport. So until next week, have a wonderful time. Thank you again for supporting my channel and my blogs. Goodbye for now.